Welcome to the Feed the Youth segment on the Chow Life podcast. I am Lionel Middleton, aka Mr. Chow Life. Today we plan to shoot episode 2 of the Feed the Youth channel or Feed the Youth segment. With me, I have my two brothers from very far time back. I have my brother Kenny, I have my brother Ethan here with me from the Stoned Ape Coast. We will have a video, another one done to speak about Stone Ape, the formation of Stone Ape, what Stone Ape is all about. But for now, we've come together to deliver this episode of Feed the Youth. Firstly, I'd like to thank everyone that has joined, everyone that will see this, that will subscribe, share, and anything of that sort. I don't know if you want to just get into it, if you want to...
Yeah, let's just go into it.
Okay, that's great. So just before we started recording, I mean, we don't necessarily have a script, but just before we started recording, we were speaking about democracy, and you were making the point that
We were basically explaining that, like, the government answers to parliament.
yes,
So my question was, do you think that system is correct, or that system is working currently?
that governments must answer to parliament.
Like in the sense of having a democracy.
Yeah.
We,
But wait, are you saying it's democracy, right? The way democracy is, or just the fact that governments must answer to parliament?
the fact that the president
Yeah.
has to answer to somebody. That's what I'm questioning.
I believe that the president should answer to a committee. Yes. I feel like there could be a better way for the committee to be set up. I don't think it needs to be so many people, and I don't think it should be maybe affiliated. Maybe that's possibilities. But I do think that a parliament system is good because parliament, remember, is representative of the people. And that's the concept behind it. Like, however you feel about parliament, parliament is very necessary.
Sure.
Because to have a government or president that doesn't answer to anyone is very, very problematic. Yes, but I do believe that democracy, the way that democracy is set up, can also be refined. You see?
Sure.
So I'm not saying that the system is perfect right now, but I do say that we have a good system in place. It's just obviously things like corruption, crime, political interests, or because remember a lot of this whole thing of accountability is meant to be objective. I want to say, like, it's meant to, like, when you're there in parliament, you're not meant to represent anyone in particular. You see,
Sure.
when you're doing the work of parliament, obviously you are put there by your people, but yeah. So that's my take. I do think that our democracy could be better. But why I let us start with that, because I did make some points just like while I was thinking about this interview, this podcast. I did let you start there because leading up to this, I did make some points that I want to hear your on. What do y'all think, or how would y'all envision a youth state? So a state where the youth is the central focus, like like how can I say, like a military state.
Sure.
Their main focus is the military. Funds go towards that.
Sure.
Technological states, like maybe China, whatever. Like you can see the money goes towards this. There's things tailor made to that.
So solely for the youth.
Yeah, or not solely, because obviously there's everyone involved. But how would a youth-centered state look for you? Like where the youth is the first priority. Like you get money just for being young. Like you see that type of just a random starting point. But yeah,
I feel like having money, income throughout your younger phases is good, beneficial, but also it's how you use the money.
No. Okay, that's fair. I think we're okay to it. But I'm saying more, how would it look to you? Like, what would a youth state look like to you? Like, what would, like, if someone says in this country or whatever, the youth, like, they even if you say they bias towards the youth in a certain extent, not to say that it should have to be that way, but
basically the majority of the budget
but it goes to youth. But I don't only want you to think financially.
Sure.
Like for example, one thing for me, I think in certain jobs, the retirement age should be put lower so that younger people are absorbed earlier. But that's biased towards young people, you see.
Sure, but then you also run into problems of where people are not ready or in a position to retire at that age. You know what I mean?
So there's another point. I think it's in order to have a youth-focused state that works, you need to have solutions for obviously the people that aren't young.
Sure.
So I feel like where the other budget should really go is elderly care,
Sure.
like more money for grants, more money towards old age specific hospitals. You see, because I feel like you see even on extreme, bro. Like if you're young, you get a discount on buying healthy food. You get what I'm saying? Like that is incentive for young people. You see,
Sure.
so
But
that
see, something like that, I feel we'll only get something like that in place when we have sort of like an authoritarian government, you get,
yeah.
where the government's gonna say,
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm
this is
assuming
what we do.
assuming that there is a country. Not to say that it's right or whatever, but it's just a thought in my head.
Sure.
Because I believe like in our country we have like a youth bulge. Well, it's a fact that in our country we have a youth bulge, meaning like young people are the majority.
Sure, there's way more young
People
people
than anything,
like,
but we're not really included in things.
sure.
So like just flip it. Like imagine if young people were at the center of everything, how would it look? Like, and how would it actually be a system that works? Because remember, catering to the young people in the system would technically bring back to the country.
Sure.
So I'm thinking, right? These are my suggestions. Obviously, you can give your inputs. I'm thinking, like, definitely one of the things is they need to invest a lot of money into like elderly care, elderly packages, all of that, so that you're taken care of when you retire and when you're old. So that old people are more willing to leave and just like be on the side and just let more space for things to go. Because even advancements, remember, like if you in charge in your late 60s and you like as a government and stuff, you pass plans for the next 10, 15 years, you might not be here for that. So you see how it sets everything back in motion. And then I feel like definitely like young people need to like be like almost put into systems. Like you see how conscription is the wrong word, right? Like conscription is the wrong word. But like you see how like you have to sign up for the army under a certain age. Like you see short skills, like where we have shortages of skills in our country, right? If you don't have a specific career you're going into, you can't find employment, then they should somehow like give you a bursary or funding of some sort to be trained in that scarce skill. You see what I'm saying? And then even if you work back that, like when you work there, or however they arrange that system. So like there are definitely ways that it could happen.
But then you can also get into like the problems with university, too.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it, university basically started this problem. Because if you go back 3 or 4 generations, there was no such thing as going to university and getting a degree.
Yeah.
But people still became scientists, became mechanics. You just went into the field that you had an interest in, and you learn from experience basically. Now basically everything's like locked off. I can't even try to be this. Maybe I'll be, you don't know, maybe I'll be the jet engineer in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't get the opportunity unless I can get a certain mark in English or I get a certain mark in Afrikaans. Because I have to get into university to get this degree to even be taken seriously in this field. You know what I mean? That also guides a lot of young people out.
Yeah.
I see barriers for us, but
Sure, they said barriers that they didn't even face themselves. Bro.
Yeah.
Our parents did school in grade 10.
I think definitely internships. I think even if you leave the notion of universities there or whatever the case is, I think like hands-on learning is the key, bro. Because I feel like you can also teach more people and people can see easier what they're into and not into by actually doing that task. You see what I'm saying? So in the past there was also more internships, apprenticeships, learnerships. Like there's not a lot of that anymore. And that's why I'm feeling like the way that this could all work is if it's done in communities. Like everybody that's on these learnerships or whatever is putting it, implementing it in their area, if that makes sense. Like let's just say you're learning to I don't know, do plumbing or whatever. You learn by fixing in your area, like as a practical course. You get what I'm saying?
With someone that really
you see, and you have extra incentive because you actually live here. As an apprentice, you see, it's 2 stones because one day it could be your toilet or your lights or whatever you're doing.
That's how it used to be in the past.
Yeah, bro. So definitely that's the system. Yeah, I don't know. That was just something that I was thinking about the youth state. Because remember, I still feel like we're gonna follow that same system of releasing these episodes and really letting it marinate for like a week, 2 weeks, depending on how the following goes, and then we go live and we discuss with people. Like obviously we're gonna work on the mechanics of how to do that. Discuss with people these episodes. So it's not just like those podcasts where we drop something and then you watch it, you have the comments. Like we actually interact on what was spoken about. So that,
I feel like you can go to college, university, right?
yeah,
And you can still suffer to get a job.
yeah, bro. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people.
Experience
Here's the
working,
thing.
Yeah.
I feel like the government and all,
Yeah.
they tried to solve the problem of like unemployment and stuff in such a way that they invested or spend money into like education, you should,
Yeah.
where this whole NASFAS thing, like let's say how they created NASFAS basically.
Mhm.
The intention behind NASFAS was we're gonna actually give people that didn't have access to education previously, we're gonna give them access to education.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't have actually moved in that sense of getting educated people, whereas we should have moved in actually giving people skills, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Giving like the
Practical
majority of the
skills.
population skills, practical skills that can actually build a country in a sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But school wasn't oriented around that.
Because now we have fucking chemical engineers sitting on the streets.
Yeah.
There's no company that needs a chemical engineer.
Yeah.
But it's always qualified. He might be find out. He might like fucking like find something undiscovered. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely. I think because another thing that I was thinking of while creating Feed the Youth after I did the first episode is like, if we're gonna feed the youth, what is the youth starving for? You know what I'm saying? So we need the skills. That's just something like I think throughout doing this podcast, it's also me trying to find out what is youth actually hungry for. Because Feed the Youth, the main three areas that Feed the Youth wants to focus on is like education, employment, and hunger. So like very self-sufficient stuff, but that's more on a practical level. But I know there's also stuff that y'all had on y'all's end. We spoke about so many different stuff that we wanted to discuss. So I don't know where you want to take this conversation. It's great to have you. It's great to see you. Yeah.
So we can look at like different aspects of feeding the youth here.
Yeah.
And from my experience of actually being a youth and being on the streets.
Yeah.
And being involved in a whole lot of different stuff.
Yes, definitely.
In life, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And meeting different people that are on the streets.
Yeah.
I can actually look at it and say most people are just looking for like a purpose, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people don't care about what actually happened. They just want a reason now to live. They want to just live something to do decent, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Most people just want to live decent.
Yeah.
People don't want extraordinary, extravagant things.
Yeah.
They just want to live at a base level, but we can't reach that level because of a whole lot of different aspects.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely interesting. Because what we were gonna title um this episode really was like turning awareness into like meaningful change. So I think like you say, like having these experiences and knowing this stuff, it's like how do we transition from that? And I think like that's the main thing. Like I think a lot of people tend to neglect how hard life can be for a lot of people. And like you like when you're chasing the big flashy things, you forget that there's people that don't have the bare minimum. Yeah, the bare minimum.
But it's perspective. When you look at it, everybody doesn't think for other people.
Yeah.
Like I personally put myself in someone else's shoes.
Yeah.
Why they do what they do.
Yeah, and I think that's what I wanted to say. Like when it comes to awareness, like we've all had a lot of experiences and a lot of challenging experiences, and I think like bringing yourself out of challenging experiences is first like having that step of awareness, and then once knowing that okay, this is what I need to change, how do you go about changing it? Because I feel like that's where a lot of young people are right now in life. Like I was saying, I feel like I don't know how you all feel, but I feel like our generation or so are like the most self-aware.
Sure, it's also that. That's why it's difficult for us to function in society.
Yeah, like we know ourselves more than generations before us knew themselves in a way.
Generations before us.
That is also
We've
true.
seen things
But it's not like an uncommon concept to think that the next generation is gonna avoid what their parents did.
Yeah.
That's what happens most of the time throughout history, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
but you
always
see,
a big switch.
Yeah. Exactly. So you see, my thing is, I feel like we as a generation, like I don't think our parents had the awareness to see how much they got from those before them, or not a lot of parents, because they had other things to focus on. Like remember, life was also harder, so they weren't sitting there like analyzing the family dynamics and how this gets passed on. But I feel like our generation is at a point where we're aware of like the past traits and we're aware of like the negatives and stuff, but we struggle to change them. Because like a lot of the stuff that we're aware happened in the past, whether we want to admit it or not, it's still happening now. We're just more aware of it. So how do we transition, like as a young person, right? How do you transition? What helped you transition? And what do you think other young people should try and keep in mind or like do to make that transition? Because it's easy to be like, for example, bro, for sure, a lot of the people that are abusive now, their family history has abuse or whatever. But now we're more aware of it. We more call it out. We more, but it's still happening, and probably even at an increased rates in some places. So we have the awareness, but we haven't really been making
the cycle.
cycle yet. I don't think our generation has stopped many cycles, bro. Like we've just acknowledged stuff more. Like I don't like. I think I don't. I can't. I'm trying to think of maybe because even racism is just as real. Really, maybe not as
That's
extreme.
what I was gonna call it.
Yeah, like what, like you see, like there's a lot of the stuff that's still happening. Maybe in a more covert way.
But besides like actual racism, experiencing actual racism,
Yeah,
there's this big disconnect between us, our generation,
yeah,
and our parents and our grandparents. Like
yeah.
we get along more with our grandparents, okay? Because our grandparents weren't educated most of the time under apartheid, okay?
Oh, I didn't
Now,
think of that.
now with our parents, they were actually educated under apartheid, where racism was institutionalized. You were taught this is the social order, this is the evolutionary order of
I
humanity.
never thought about that, bro.
So that's why a lot of our parents are way more racist, okay? Like to be honest, my grandparents and my parents were both racist, bro. They
Yeah.
were so heavy. My grandparents voted for the National Party. When Mandela was freed and he was running for the ANC,
Yeah.
they still voted for the National Party, bro.
Wow, that's
Because
crazy.
they were happy under apartheid.
Yeah,
They were
They just
working,
wanted
they had
to
jobs
carry
and
on.
shit.
yeah, yeah.
That's also like I don't get with this. Oh, what's his name? That old Gaten McKenzie, dude.
Yeah.
Like the colored people, they're coming in as if they also experienced apartheid at the same level and which everyone else faced it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not realizing that during apartheid there was levels, bro.
Okay.
Like there was Indians and then colored and then
Yeah.
it just got lower and lower until you got to black people
Okay, I
and shit.
see where you're going with this. Yeah.
That's why I don't get this whole point of people fighting PE.
No. You see, let me come in on that thing of PE, right? The concept of PE, right? The concept of PE in theory is not bad. You see, that's the problem with South Africa. That's the problem. Like when you ask me, does democracy work and whatever? You can't have a Western democracy in Africa. Africa needs its own democracy, its own system. But going not to go into that right now. No, we need. There's a term for it. You need a benevolent dictator, not just any dictator. You must look it up. Like there's a concept of a benevolent dictator. You see, so we need a benevolent dictator, and anyone there should go and check that out, and then we can have that discussion. Because I feel like that's a whole topic on its own, and I find that so interesting, the concept of a benevolent dictator. But anyway, not to get lost, right? The concept of BVE, right, or BEE, it's the concept is good, but the problem is, do you know who was one of the major people? Yeah, bro. So you see, the person that structured it is the person that gained the most from it. So it was a flawed implementation of it. It is a flawed implementation of it.
But you see, bro, that's the thing also.
I never thought of that though. Can you know that? I won't lie. That our parents were like educated under apartheid.
system.
Yeah. And I do get along better with my grandparents. I wonder if that's like a common thing. Do you think that's a common thing? Let us know. Like, so do you think most of our generation get along better with our grandparents?
For sure.
That's crazy.
Because our parents are totally messed up, bro. They went through heavy shit. You know what I mean? Like imagine going to school and the people are putting a pencil in your ear. Surely if the three things you sit at the back of the class. Don't have school shoes and shit. Whereas in our grandparents' time, my grandparents, like my grandfather was like 80 something when he died. And he went to school before South Africa was a country like.
Like our grandparents on a different part.
Sure, they were still using pounds and
they saw apartheid come in. That's mad, right? These apartheid come. So they have that like heritage. That's true, bro. That is true. That is so true. Damn, that is interesting.
Our parents weren't like actually allowed to think outside the box, you know?
Yeah.
They were, like even black people, black people and colored, they're the most bound, you know. Like when it comes to police and stuff like that,
Yeah.
the most bound because it's like generational trauma, you know,
Mm.
built into us.
We were talking about our parents that cops come, it's something wrong.
Now,
Yeah.
the disconnect causes this frustration, bro. And I'm sure every young person feels it that's living here, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This frustration to serve. I'm being, when I look at the media, they're showing me this certain lifestyle and shit.
Yeah.
They're showing me, okay, this is what life can be.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at my life, and I'm in a shack, and my mother's on Xannies, my body's drunk.
Yeah.
It's like that type of shit, you know what I
In
mean?
comparison, it's just
So what you see.
So it makes you frustrated, and then a lot of people don't think
Yeah.
back to say, well, okay, there's a reason that like everything's in the state it is now. They just get frustrated with the parents, they get frustrated with society on the whole,
Yeah.
with governments, everyone. That's why most young people don't vote.
You think that's why young people?
Don't vote.
That is another. I don't think of that either. So basically, like the reason why it's hard to turn that awareness into change is because you're like so aware, like you know that this is a lifestyle that's been advertised to you, and that there's so many obstacles getting in the way. So you just get that. I think it's empathetic or some apathetic. I think it's probably apathetic if I'm not mistaken. Where like you just have no feeling, like you're so detached.
Sure.
Because I always say that the reason why young people are so apathetic and why they like don't vote and all of this stuff is because like you see the same things play out over and over and over. Like how many times have people protested for this thing, or how many times has there been like commissions?
Nothing
So
changes.
eventually, as a young person, you're like nothing changes.
It's not gonna work.
They do a cabinet shuffle. The Minister of Education becomes the Minister of Defense now.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he knows about arms, you know.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
But that's why I feel like it's also designed by the system that way, though. Because like as a young person, like I feel like as a young person you have like a rebellious bone in you, right? But I remember I have like a cousin who's like my uncle. Like his age is like, because you know the youth is like 15 to 35. That's like capped as the youth, like the overall youth.
Yeah, I'll say 35.
Yeah. So you see those people that are like 27, 28, 30. You see, they're a different type of woke to us, bro. Like they like the ones that came like in the Matrix and like you must break out and be your own whatever. So they have like you see they have like a different understanding to us even. So like one thing he told me, like you see like us, like our generation more now, we like we must burn the system, we must destroy the system, we must rebuild what, which is true, bro, because I'm one of those people that believe like everything, not everything, but sometimes the only way to rebuild something is completely destroy it and start from scratch. Like I believe in that, right? But what he was saying is like don't break the system. You must go inside the system and then bend it to make it correct. You see, like the system is broken, but you need to go inside to fix it. So that's also a different approach to it, bro. Because yeah, I still feel like maybe you have to burn it down from inside, even maybe, and then restructure it.
I used to think like that, you did.
Yeah.
But my opinion changed because of like spirituality, you did.
Yeah.
I think like because we've lost so much spirituality.
Yeah.
People now people don't know what Christianity is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we just know it's this thing our parents taught us.
Yeah.
We don't know what the purpose of this thing is.
Interesting.
And the purpose of this thing is it's basically instructions on how to organize your life, which is.
Yeah.
And we're not following those things because we don't know. We think it's about going to church and singing songs and all that shit. But it's not about that.
Yeah.
If you actually read this thing and you follow it, and I'd say that's about any religion.
Yeah.
If you're a Muslim,
true, and we know because we've actually looked into a lot of these stuff.
Yeah,
like all of us have looked into a lot of different religions.
In the past like 6 years, I've basically gone from being a Christian to being a Hindu to being a Buddhist to being fucking basically like going into a cult stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Going on to be an atheist.
Yeah.
And then all the way back.
Yeah.
To being basically semi-Christian. I won't say Christian.
Yeah.
But I believe in certain teachings that the Bible teaches, you know what I mean?
Your version of Christianity. You can say that. You believe in your version.
Sure, to look at the Bible as a tool.
Yeah. I think with a lot of religions, with a lot of religions, there's like each person, whether they admit it or whatever, has their own personal interpretation of a religion. And then there's a group, like you see the radical Muslims or the apostle Christians. Like you see all these different groupings. That's like from an individual interpretation, so like a mini group interpretation, and then the overall, everyone's interpretation of this like Christianity thing. Like everybody believes Jesus died on the cross, what. That's like the overall for everyone. But now everyone interprets the scripture differently. What? You see what I'm saying? So you so far believe in your version of Christianity, so to speak.
Sure. Well, it's
Yeah.
just my. I
Yeah,
take from it what I can use, because
Yeah,
and I just got what's not of benefit to me.
yeah, yeah.
If you look at it on the whole, don't you think everything could be beneficial?
It's just
But
not the right time.
beneficial.
I believe that, bro. Like you see, like for me personally, you see my story with Christianity or whatever the case is, like in the last year and a half or whatever the case might be, maybe year and a half. Like I had a harder year than most years. Like last year, I think, like. And like you see, the more in despair I was, the more I felt less spiritually connected. You see, and then it was just like a whole lot of different like I don't know. Like for me, I've always had a good connection. Like I could always hear God, communicate with God, whatever the case is.
Sure.
So like last year and like maybe half the year before, whatever, like I felt like I couldn't like really hear that connection and all of that. And then like starts of this year coming back, realigning, whatever. I heard it again, and then so like in this year, like I managed to get closer back with God, all of that stuff, you see. But what I learned in that time, and like I think it was something one of my grandfathers told me or something. So crazy, but imagine I have all four of my grandparents. That's such a blessing. But anyway, um, like he was telling me that God's voice is never not there. It's just we stop listening sometimes.
What's the noise?
Yeah, bro, and I think that's also another thing as a young person, like with spirituality. Also feel like it's very intentional, bro. Like there's only so much time in the day. And like yes, they say you should make time for God and you should make time for God always. But we all know that there's things in place to like distract you, bro. Like you end up scrolling an hour when you were supposed to. Yeah, there's habits, subconscious habits, definitely. Because that's what like during this time now, I've been practicing Lent, but I haven't done Lent in a long time. So it's a very like flexible Lent and just me like going through the phases, communicating with God, all of that. So in that is when you see habits. Because then you're more like when you're trying to change your habits, that's the most focused you are on yourself. Because you're constantly like watching out. Like for this thing. Because with some like when you first start trying to change your habits, genuinely it might sound crazy, bro, but like you won't notice you're doing it. Like you could just end up smoking a cigarette, for example. Not even realizing like, yo, bro, I said I'm not smoking cigarettes anymore. You see?
That's also the
Or
thing,
even like a snack, bro. Like you don't even realize you're going to the kitchen. All of a sudden you're going back to the lounge with chips in your hand. You don't even do it. You see? All those things, bro. All
That's why I
those
also
things.
think like there's a certain way of thinking
Yeah.
that allows you to actually understand how God works. You know what I mean? Because especially with like leaving habits,
Yeah.
you don't actually use your own power sometimes. You know what I mean?
True.
Because sometimes it's difficult. You can't just leave
Do it, yeah, on your own, yeah.
Because inside you still want to do it.
Yes, deep
You
down.
want to stop it because you know it's wrong,
But
or you want to do the right thing. But inside you still feel like, yeah,
I want to do this thing. That's so real. That's
with
so real.
God, He can make you not want to do this thing. Or not, it's not like it can make you do
What you know is right.
Sure, it's
What you know is right. What's right.
and no more
Sure.
want to do this wrong thing. Like
Sure.
you have
Because
no
the
more
sin is
desire.
in you now, bro.
Sure.
The sin is in you, and like the sin feels nice, bro. And like you can't fool God. So God knows that, yeah, you don't want to do it because it's wrong, but deep down, you know that you see, like He understands all of that. So
I can also make a thing like this. So think of it, if like let's just say you have 5 clips, right?
Yeah.
In cash.
Yeah.
And you tune yourself, I'm not going to use this 5 clips, you just.
Yeah.
But then you end up getting into a story where you need to take a 50 rand from the YouTube.
Yeah.
And you spend that 50 rand.
Now it's 450.
It's 450. Check
Yeah.
okay, let's make it even 4 clips.
Yeah.
Then you take this 50 rand. Then you get into another story where you take a 50.
Yeah.
Like that it goes, YouTube.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with wickedness.
Sure.
In terms of your life. Once you let that one wicked thing that you allow yourself to do.
You constantly feel
It
It's like,
flows into
okay,
something else.
subconsciously, you
Yeah.
say to yourself, okay, I've already did this thing.
it's okay
I
to
can
do
do
it
a
again.
couple more. I'm gonna stop soon. You get?
Mm.
But you're gonna do a whole lot of other wicked stuff that's not necessary because you already did it once.
So we're speaking about sacrifice.
So
Yeah, I think like everything, like what I've come to experience, what I've come to learn, is like everything works on the concept of sacrifice. Like whether it's religion, whether like there's nothing that you giving.
So
And I think that's the thing. Like with wickedness, the way wickedness works in comparison to the way goodness works. Like wickedness is like the more bad you do, the more you power up.
so
But it's so direct. But I feel like that's because the world is filled with more evil than good right now.
so
So because of that, like the evil that you do multiplies so much faster.
so like it empowers you to do more evil.
Yeah, but with goodness, bro, like you have to sow a seed.
So,
Like you don't give someone a plate of food now and get 1,000 rand.
so
You see? But if you murder someone and you take everything you have, your evilness is automatically rewarded. And I feel
so
like that's how a lot of people get caught up in like wickedness and evil because the results are so
Faster.
instant almost
well, that's why I was
sometimes.
just saying like it's easier to tell what's wickedness than to tell what's good.
That is true.
It's way more easier to say, okay, if I do this, it's gonna lead to a bad outcome.
Yeah.
Not do it just
Yeah.
as opposed to saying, okay, if I do this, it's gonna lead to a good outcome, which you don't know. You can be doing a good thing, right? Like let's say, for example, you're saying giving a person a place of food.
Yeah.
Let's just say you feed this homeless person, right?
Yeah.
Just in this universe, just this example, right?
Yeah.
That might give the oldest strength to go rob someone. So
Yeah.
he can get his own vehicle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you're not giving him what he needs.
Yeah.
You're giving him something that's gonna give him strength to get what he needs, vehicle.
Yeah.
Now, some people might say, okay, I did a good thing. I don't care what he does.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, okay, you give this guy 50 rand on the road. I did a good thing, even if he goes and buy drugs.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, you should. But
Yeah.
I don't think it works like that.
I don't think it should work like that.
I feel like that's why I say it's difficult to do something good. You don't know what
Yeah, you don't know what's good, but you know what's bad.
Sure.
You know what's
So
bad.
it's easier just to move away from that and
Yeah.
get us. I feel like by moving away from wickedness, slowly you can get closer and closer to actually being good.
Yeah.
There's also this concept in Christianity, so no one's perfect, you can never be perfect.
Yeah.
I don't believe that, you know.
You believe you can be perfect?
I believe that actually humanity can be perfect. So Jesus said you can do whatever I can do and more. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So we can do everything that Jesus did, you know, including raising people from the dead, everything that Jesus did.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But what's actually blocking us is our wickedness. It's our tendency to move towards wickedness and to do things without really understanding the outcome.
Mm.
And to do things on our own accord also. Like as humans, we like to think to say, okay, we know a lot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we like to make decisions based on what we know.
Yeah.
But
Our
sometimes
own knowledge.
we're so oblivious to the outcome that's actually gonna happen from doing this thing. Then we go ahead and do this thing expecting one outcome.
Yeah.
And we get 10 different outcomes.
I think humans have a lot of knowledge, but very little wisdom.
Sure. And I feel like that's exactly what wisdom is, being able to determine weakness from goodness.
Yeah.
That's all wisdom like basically boils down to, you too.
Yeah. Yeah. Wisdom is just like a different level of understanding.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Being able to calculate the tree of outcomes, you too.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. Like how far down the line of outcomes can you actually account for?
Yeah. How
before
far
making a
down?
decision?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Also, looking at things like that and taking all these things into account, it can cause you to not take decisions. Because
Yeah.
that's where faith comes in.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't know the full outcome, but so far I've looked at this thing as going to have a positive outcome. I'm just going to move in faith thinking, okay,
So awareness, to turn awareness into meaningful change, practice goodness.
sure.
I think
Don't practice goodness.
yeah.
Be averse to wickedness.
Yeah,
Avoid wickedness.
avoid wickedness, avoid wickedness. So turn awareness into change is to avoid wickedness.
Sure.
Cause yeah, bro, like I mean when once we ate the apple, we kind of became aware to wickedness. Because remember, as much as people interpret the apple as like giving us knowledge, whatever the case is, we didn't know evil.
Sure.
Like once we ate the apple, we understood wrong from right. But before that, we didn't know. We didn't need to know what was wrong and what was right because we only knew good.
Sure.
Didn't know evil. Like you see what I'm saying? So in order to change and because now we're aware, eating the apple made you aware. But now to be aware for good, you need to avoid evil. Because now you can see the evil. That's an option. So technically when we started, evil wasn't an option. Evil became an option when you ate the apple. So now that we're aware that there's two parts, the only way, because you can't really see the good part, like you can't see where it leads. The only way is to know this is wrong. Don't do that. I don't know where the good's gonna lead me, but I know it's not bad.
Sure. But also in order to have this type of mentality, bro, I don't know how we're gonna spread it. So how do the people that have this mentality actually influence other people to have this sort of mentality? So no matter what happens, I'm just gonna avoid wickedness and I'm gonna move
Stay
forward
away
in
from
goodness.
evil.
And the outcome is gonna be positive in the end. Need positivity.
I think like there's a lot of stuff out there. Like that's another thing. Like I genuinely believe, like with a lot of stuff, whether it's made for good or made for bad, there's no thing that's good or bad. It's how you use it. Same with same with anything, bro. Like social media, what. So I feel like if you can use things like this, like bro, for sure, it sounds crazy, but it is not that easy to convince people. Like if you come up with a hashtag or something today and you're like, stay away from evil. So it's not like everyone's just gonna jump on it like, yeah, let's not do evil. It sounds like that's how it would be, but it's not. By using these things and by connecting with people, that's why we have feed the youth. Because now that's the topic that we can discuss as young people. How now we've established, okay, we want to change. We want to make a positive difference in the world, a meaningful difference. We're aware of what's wrong. We want to figure out how to make it good. In order to make it good, we need to stay away from evil. So now the next step is figuring out how we stay away from evil. How do we help other people stay away from evil? Because like there's a lot of things. That's what I'm saying, bro. What makes the change from awareness to change hard is that we're aware, but now we're also aware of how many stuff is blocking us, bro.
Sure. That's also one of the biggest problems of awareness, bro.
You see? But no, I think this was a great episode, brother. Thank you so much for coming through. This is episode 2 of Feed the Youth. Thank you all for tuning in. Like, subscribe, follow. There will be a lot more content coming. Stay blessed, stay full. We'll be back. Ciao live. It is great having y'all.